quiet Monnow Valley of southeast Wales, three ancient fortresses rise from the green. Grosmont, Skenfrith, White Castle. They stand as the silent guardians of a long-vanished frontier, a border once marked by fear, ambition, and the struggle for control. After the Norman Conquest of 1066, this valley became part of the Welsh Marches, a restless borderland between Norman England and independent Wales. To hold this new frontier, Norman lords built a chain of strongholds. Three of them, set only a few miles apart, would come to be known together as the Three Castles. Their purpose was simple: defend the roads, watch the hills, and project Norman power deep into Wales. The first of these was Grosmont. Its name, from the French for Great Hill, suits the low ridge it crowns above the River Monnow. The earliest fort here was earth and timber, raised soon after the conquest, but in time, stone replaced wood. Walls rose thick and high, with towers commanding the valley below. By the 13th century, Grosmont had become not just a fortress, but the administrative heart of its lordship. In the early 15th century, Wales rose in rebellion under Owain Glyndŵr. In the spring of 1405, Grosmont was attacked by a Welsh force. The defenders held firm, and the attackers were driven off after fierce fighting nearby. The victory came at a cost. The surrounding town was burned, and many lives were lost. It was one of the last times Grosmont felt the true weight of war. Today, its red sandstone walls still stand proud, their colour warm against the green fields of Monmouthshire. A few miles downstream lies Skenfrith. The first castle here was a simple motte and bailey guarding a shallow crossing of the River Monnow. By the early 13th century, Skenfrith too was rebuilt in stone. At its heart stands a great round keep, thick-walled, narrow-windowed, and built to endure. It was both stronghold and shelter, a last refuge if the outer walls fell. Skenfrith's design speaks of precision. Its curtain walls form a rectangle, strengthened by towers at each corner. It was never the grandest of castles, but it was effective and commanded the local area. A fortress built to make a statement, as much as to defend. By the 16th century, it had lost its purpose. The river still flowed past, but the garrison was gone. Grass and silence claimed its halls. Further east, on a lonely hilltop, stands the third and greatest of the three, White Castle. In Welsh, Castell Gwyn. Its walls were once lime-washed bright, gleaming white against the dark hills. The first fortification here was likely raised in the late 11th century, but the White Castle we see today took shape in the 13th when new walls, deep moats, and strong gatehouses transformed it into one of the most formidable border castles in Wales. For much of their history, Grosmont, Skenfrith, and White Castle were held as one. Together they formed a triangle of power, each less than a day's ride of the others. If one came under siege, the others could rally to its aid. The three castles passed through the hands of powerful families, the de Braose lords, then Hubert de Burgh, and finally the English crown. Each added their mark, strengthening walls, rebuilding towers, and shaping the landscape of authority along this frontier. In time, peace crept across the border. The wars ended, the lords departed, and the castles grew quiet. Their stones fell to ruin, their moats to grass. Today, they are open to the sky, still, serene, and beautiful in their decay. Together they tell a story older than any single kingdom, a story of ambition and endurance, of borders drawn and redrawn across the heart of Wales. The three castles, Grosmont, Skenfrith, and White Castle, once stood for conquest. Now, they stand to remind us of our past.